Professor, the sampling method is very complex. Could you please explain it to me?
Yes, in this session, I will explain the methods of sampling when conducting surveys. Sampling methods can be classified into probability sampling and non-probability sampling, based on whether the samples are selected randomly or according to convenience. Probability sampling involves randomly selecting samples from the population. It is widely used in statistical analysis because the members of the population have an equal chance of being selected as samples. On the other hand, non-probability sampling involves intentionally selecting samples. Although it is difficult to generalize statistically, it is useful for understanding the responses of target customers in activities such as new product development, brand evaluation, and advertising testing. Probability sampling can be further categorized into simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, and cluster sampling. There are several non-probability sampling methods, including convenience sampling, purposive sampling, quota sampling, and snowball sampling. Now let's go into detail by type. First, probability sampling. Simple random sampling involves randomly selecting samples of the desired size, such as using a lottery or random number table. It has the advantage of high representativeness of the population, even when the population is not known in advance. However, it requires a large sample size to reduce errors and accurate data on the population to minimize errors. Systematic sampling involves arranging all members of the population in a predetermined order and assigning sequential numbers, then randomly selecting the first sample and selecting subsequent samples at regular intervals. For example, if there are 1,000 students in a high school and you want to calculate the average height of students, you can extract a sample of 100 students and perform the calculation. First, sort the 1,000 students in alphabetical order and assign them sequential numbers. Then, if the first extraction number is student number 1, the subsequent extractions will be at intervals of 10, such as student numbers 11, 21, and so on. The sampling interval of 10 is used because 100 samples need to be extracted from a population of 1,000, resulting in a 10% chance of being selected. Systematic sampling has the advantage of efficiently extracting samples. However, it is only feasible when the population exhibits a consistent pattern. Stratified sampling is a method where the population is divided into several subgroups based on certain criteria, and samples are randomly selected from each subgroup. For example, when surveying the average height of 1,000 students, you can divide them into male and female students, and randomly select 50 male students and 50 female students to survey their average height. Stratified sampling has the advantage of higher representativeness and statistical accuracy compared to simple random sampling. However, it requires a precise understanding of the population's characteristics to classify them into subgroups, and accurate data on the population is needed to determine the number of subgroups. Cluster sampling is a method used when the population is composed of multiple clusters or subgroups. First, a few clusters are randomly selected from the population, and then all members within the selected clusters are surveyed. For example, when investigating the state of English education among elementary school students nationwide, you randomly select a few elementary schools and then randomly select which grade levels to survey within the selected schools. Finally, you survey all the students belonging to the selected grades within the chosen schools. Now, let's explain non-probability sampling methods. Convenience sampling involves the researcher selecting individuals as samples based on convenience, such as in shopping malls, train stations, or on the streets. It is a straightforward method that has the advantage of being very convenient. However, it lacks representativeness. Purposive sampling involves selecting samples based on individuals who are deemed most suitable for the research purpose. For example, when surveying opinions on real estate policies, you might select samples from among real estate experts. This method has the advantage of obtaining more accurate information from experts. However, it relies on knowing who the experts are, and there is a potential for researcher bias during the sample selection process, making it difficult to ensure representativeness. Quote, sampling involves classifying the population into subgroups based on certain criteria and allocating sample sizes based on demographic characteristics or residential areas within each subgroup. For example, when surveying the average height of 1,000 students, if the ratio of male students to female students is 60% to 40%, you would allocate 60 male students and 40 female students for the survey. Quote, sampling is similar to stratified sampling, but it differs in that the final sample is artificially selected based on the researcher's judgment. It is widely used in opinion polls and marketing research by companies. It has the advantages of high representativeness, low time and cost requirements, but it is prone to researcher bias, leading to a larger sampling error. Snowball sampling is a method where a few initial samples are selected, and then those individuals recommend others, resulting in the sample size growing like a snowball. Snowball sampling relies on recommendations to compose the sample, which means the sample members are homogeneous and lack representativeness. However, it is commonly used in qualitative research methods, such as specific events or focus group interviews, FGIs.
Professor, the sampling methods can be quite complex, so I appreciate your explanations to help me understand easier. Thank you very much.